Okay, y'all, we have a serious conversation to talk about. This is so important that we talk about this. Um, we know the outcome of what happened to Carmelo. He was denied, and it's still not over. Okay, they still gonna appeal and all that stuff. But people are dragging Nique at Nite right now. They're dragging her because they're saying that she got double standards. What Carmelo said about black people, black women to be exact. Other people said the same thing, and she had a different opinion about it. I want to know, do you all have a different opinion? Let's talk about it, y'all. Hello, and welcome to my channel. Please like, share, and subscribe if you like this video. And thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, thank you, thank you. To my day ones, twos, threes, and fours, thank you so very much. I appreciate you all, and welcome, welcome, welcome. This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only, so everything is alleged, some is not, and the fair accuse is in my description box, y'all. So let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it. This is a very important subject to talk about. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. The more time goes by, the more information is coming out about how Carmelo felt about black women in general, black girls, black women. It wasn't too nice. And these were the main people that were in his corner, y'all. And I'm going to tell y'all this is how I feel about the situation. The whole thing, okay? Was he discriminated against? I believe so. I think he was. But I do believe now that some of that karma for, discriminating against your own black women came back to you in the form of Austin. And I do believe now that this was karma. Yo, I do. Did he, not get a fair trial? Definitely, I don't think he got a fair trial at all. Even the messages that he had in his phone about, him wanting to stick somebody and taste a BLOOD. Well, word on the street is, y'all. When he was talking about that, he was in a chat. He was in a chat, of people that play Call of Duty. Why video games keep coming up in his case and Nolan's, y'all. He was in the chat. He was playing Call of Duty with a bunch of, y'all guessed it, a bunch of white boys. His friends, people that he met in the chat online. And this was part of the video game. So he was talking about, talking his stuff, popping his mouth. Yeah, y'all. This was in a video game as well. And he, text what it was going on in the video game and what they were discussing in that chat. It had nothing to do with how he, did he really want to go do some stuff like that? That's a possibility. He did. But that day, that wasn't what, I don't feel like what he was on. I felt like, somebody ran up on him and met their match. That's what I feel. And now I'm starting to feel, a little different about the situation, to be honest about it. I still feel the same way. I still feel like, he was treated unfairly with this trial. I think it was all a setup. But I also feel like this child was so troubled that it don't make sense. And I also feel like this was his karma. It was his karma all day long. The things that we are hearing now that, black women discussed him, black girls discussed, he was disgusted by black girls. This is what he said, Not only did he say that, he was talking about the glue getting into the brains or something like that. The glue, all that glue in the hair, and he got down. He really did not like black girls, and he didn't like black women. I want you to pay attention to Nolan too. Nolan, everything that was around him was white girls. Everything. And even though they say that he was a can soul, I ain't seen no black girls on his arm. And if that's the case, and you're a cancel and you gave everybody the benefit of the doubt and it is and it that, why weren't no black girls on your arm? Ever. Ever. Carmelo, he had what, a Hispanic? Nolan, white girl after white girl. Now I do believe that one of his girlfriends was black, Nolan's. I think his first girlfriend was black. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was. But after that, no more. All white, all white. Now there's stories coming out of how, Carmelo really felt about the women that were all in his corner and still is. The majority of GoFundMe, all of that stuff came from black women, which he despised. And Nique at Nite is getting called out for it. She's getting called out for it, y'all. She is somebody that, she feel a type of way about a person that don't like black women. And she don't have the same feelings that she have when it comes to Carmelo despising black women. She looks over that. Now it's, make excuses. I'm not about making excuses, yo. And I'm going to tell y'all straight up, I still say pray for him, because I think 35 years is a long time to get somebody who defended themselves from a bully. But like I said, I think the discrimination that he had toward his own black women, a black woman laid down and had you, and you don't like them, you despise them, wouldn't date one. If there was the only one on earth, he wouldn't even want to touch her. You discriminated against your own kind, and that discrimination came back in a different way from someone else. And karma works in mysterious ways, y'all. It really do. And a lot of people feel like bloggers should jump on social media and just talk. But they don't understand that a lot of these bloggers are going through the same thing. Same thing or similar things, yo. And when I talk about something, I feel like I have a right to talk about it. When I talk about street associates, I got a right to talk about street associates. I was in one. When I talk about, certain things about, people being racially profiled, stuff like that, there's a lot of stuff going on in my life that's similar, yo. You get a different feel on life when you raise a child. And you're close to that child. Close to him, close as all outdoors. You feel like nothing can come between that. And then when somebody of another race pops in, and then nothing you say is right, everything you say is wrong, and this person knows more, and you care about this person more than anybody, and this and that and this, and you have to question things like, is it just because this person is another race that you feel the way you feel? And then you have to question certain things and feel like, why ain't you dating anybody in your own race? Why ain't you dating any women that look like your mom? How is it that you can let another race disrespect your mom? And you get to a point where you back off and you say enough is enough. And then you do these stories. You do these stories on YouTube, and you're going through this stuff and similar things in your own life. And you're like, man, this child hated black women. He hated black women. He was abusive to women. He was. He was stalking women. And if you've been stalked before, you know how I feel. It don't feel so good when somebody's stalking you. I talked about this to, on my memberships about being stalked. about having to being in a really, really abusive relationship that was, it was crazy. And I talked about having to go outside in disguise just so a person wouldn't know who I was. That I could walk past people and they not know who I was. When you have been in a bad relationship and you dealt with these demons, you kind of get a different feel of a person when things come out and it's similar in your life. I took down some of my videos, y'all. I did. Um, I just woke up one morning and I felt like the more and more stuff that was piled up, and I'm still finding out things that it goes in his favor too. Just like I told you about the chat, playing a video game, the Call of Duty, and where that came from, that stemmed from. And let me see, can I find it real quick, y'all? Let me see, can I find that really, really quick for y'all? Because that's important to bring up. That is so very important to bring up. I hope I can find it real quick. Give me a second, y'all. Okay, here it is. What they didn't tell you was majority of his text messages was from a game called Call of Duty. Okay? So, one of the text messages being discussed included Karmelo Anthony talking about sticking somebody and licking the BLOOD off the pointy thing, y'all. Okay? But context matters. Okay? Context matters. That particular conversation was connected to the video game Call of Duty. Several of the messages may sound disturbing when you read them by themselves. Now, if you read these messages, they sound strange, okay? But this specific exchange was part of what was described as a roast while gaming. So these individuals, my son didn't been in, these video games, and they are going in. Sometimes he would turn his mic off because people would play, even if they playing partners with each other, they would be roasting each other while they're playing. This is a known thing that they do. This is what Carmelo was doing, y'all. This is what he was doing. You cannot take words out of their full context. Present them in the most damaging way possible and expect people not to ask questions. We are paying attention to what was presented, what was left out, and whether the full context was considered. Context matters. Facts matters. A fair process matters. Justice for Carmelo Anthony. So he was roasting somebody. He was roasting somebody. When he was talking about the BLOOD and that he wanted to taste it and all of that, it was a roast. They used those text messages from a video game roast against him. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. He's sitting in jail right now with a bunch of men. Bunch of men. All over the place. Got to take showers with them. Got to eat with them. Sleep in the same cells with them. And you couldn't stand a black woman. You think that's going to humble him? You think he's going to have a different approach on life when he get out? You think that he's going to pay attention that the majority of the people that supported him was the very people that he despised? Yo. I think Nique and Nite got a little bit more explaining to do. You don't just jump on social media when people are asking you, what's up, Nique? You still feel the same way? You still feel the same way about Carmelo? Yeah, I still feel the same way. Justice, justice, justice. I still say, I pray he, I said what I said the other day. I said, this is it. Leave it in God's hand. He is God's child, one of God's children. And maybe this was his way of humbling him. He might have to sit there for a year or 2 or 3 or 4 before he get released. But maybe this is what was needed to humble him. Sometimes people have to be humbled. When you turn on your parents, when you do all kind of just, you wilding out. And this is what older people used to say a long time ago. My grandma, everything. Sometimes demise is calling you. Something is calling. Something is eating at you. Sometimes you get taken up out of here when you don't act right. Sometimes you get taught a lesson. And I'm starting to think that Carmelo is getting taught a lesson right now. And I think that this just may humble him. Just may. But I still think he needs some kind of counseling. Because when you out here ratting around stalking, something wrong with you when you're doing that stuff. If you're in a relationship with somebody and you say it's over, it's over. If that person don't want to be with you no more, then you can't make them be with you. You're supposed to be able to have a choice. And I think it's demonic. It's all outdoors. When it's a difference in begging, please, baby, please take me back. But when you stalking somebody and sitting in the hallway and, calling them and saying you're going to take them out and all of this other stuff and following them around in your car and threatening them, you need some counseling. You need some help. That's what you need. Because when somebody says, I'm done, I'm done. And you cannot make somebody stay with you. And I just find it really, it's odd. It's weird that the things happen the way it happened, but everything happens for a reason. And the fact that you had the nerves to feel like black women, you're despised by them. Somebody needs to be humbled. And Nique needs to come out and say something instead of running to her subscribers and making excuses. We all was in his corner. We got people that was putting up messages saying, look at all these bloggers that was lying and saying this and that and that. People, it wasn't the fact that people were lying. Because this is what we were being told. We didn't find out till later what was really coming out. And we still finding out more and more stuff. We still find out more and more information. So you cannot fault a lot of these bloggers that supported him. Because what was being put out and what wasn't being put out and things that was being hidden and how fast that trial went, all of that stuff was a setup. It was crazy how it went. But it's also crazy how he felt about us. And he ain't the only one. It's a lot of people out here that feel that way. That all of a sudden, black women don't mean nothing to you. Some black women, they put up with this mess in their own household. They do. Some don't. Some say kick rocks. Keep it pushing. Because, I didn't spoiled you. I done did everything I was supposed to do. I done took care of you. But if you get to a point where you disrespect me for another raise, deuces. I'm like Chris Brown, deuces. And these stories just make you just feel a type of way and make you feel the same way about your own people in your own life that is acting similar to this person. You wake up sometime and you don't know the person that you raised. And I hear this from a lot of people now. A lot of women, a lot of people be reaching out to me through, my emails and my IG, and they talk about stuff and experiences that they're having with their children and all of that stuff. And it's the same thing. Their child start dating a white person, and this white person turn their child away from them. Turn them away from the whole family. That child just flip-flops, and you don't know why. Overnight, your child act like they hate you. A lot of people have reached out to tell me this. Did he feel the same way? This is what we're starting to find out. Carmelo hated black women. He hated them. Now, it probably started at home because word on the street is his daddy that was running around with them little bow ties. He was getting his exercise on with his mama. Word on the street. He was married to this woman. He lived with her. He married her. But he was putting hands on her, allegedly. Did he teach Carmelo to hate people of his own race? Did he get it from them? Now everybody is blaming the parents. Oh, you raised a hitter. You raised this. He was running around here playing with weapons. There's pictures out here of him with all type of weapons, y'all. Big ones, little ones, looking deranged, like something's wrong with him. A lot of us is going through this. They just don't want to admit it. I don't care. I'm going to admit it when I'm going through it, y'all. What are they doing to these guys? It's okay to love somebody, but just because you love one person, a new person, doesn't mean you hate the people that where you came from. Doesn't mean everything they say is wrong and everything they say is right now. Y'all, and Nique and Nite, you got some explaining to do, girl. I went to her page and I was like, Lord, they going in the comment section. You just gonna ignore the fact that he hated you. He despised you. And she's still going. Not me, y'all. When I found out how you truly feel about me, I can still say I pray for him. I prayed for him all while this was going on. And I left it in God's hand. He's young. He's still a child. But he got some screws missing, y'all. He do. He's hateful. And he ran into somebody who was just as hateful as him. And that's a part of karma. It is. Now, how long he gonna go through this karma or this life lesson, we don't know. Only God knows that. He might get this appeal and get out because they might actually pull up all the stuff. See, one thing about this case, I'm gonna tell y'all this. One thing about this case, and I feel like this is another reason probably why that he was denied. My personal opinion. The first trial that went so fast, they made this gentleman an agreement. When they did the retrial, his new lawyers also entered into the same gentleman's agreement. If you wasn't going to lay everything out on the line, you was going to have the same outcome, probably even worse. Why in the world did his new lawyers enter the same agreement that got him to 35 years in the first place? Makes no sense. And we still have a lot of bloggers talking about, oh, he's going to appeal, he's going to this. If they do the appeal and they still do the gentleman's agreement, he's going to get the same outcome, if not more time. They got to lay everything out on the line. Everything that Austin was doing and everything that Carmelo was doing. They have to. You can't hide anything. You got to talk about it. That's the only way you're going to go into those text messages of him wanting to the BLOOD. And that was a roast while you were playing Call of Duty. The people have to know these things. Because if they don't know these things, they feel like this is how you felt and that you was deranged. And it's going to be the same outcome, if not even worse. So, Nique, please. I mean, you got all these subscribers, 300-some thousand subscribers, girl. Stop fronting, girl. Stop defending. And hold people accountable for what they were doing, how they felt, and what's really going on. Anyway, y'all let me know in the comment section how you feel. Ladies, does this change how you feel about Carmelo, but you still feel like he was done dirty? Because that's how I feel. I feel like he was done dirty, but I also feel now that that was his karma. Point blank, period. Let me know how you all feel in the comment section. Anyway, y'all, please like, share, subscribe if you like this video. And thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.